Good morning. So today our topic is reshaping and pivoting. So these are number of basic operations that are used for rearranging tabular data. So it means we will rearrange the data. So if I say tabular data, the data will be contained in rows and columns. So reshaping will just convert rows into columns and columns into rows. So for this, what operations we have to do in pandas, we'll be seeing that under this particular topic. Okay, so now first one, reshaping with hierarchical indexing. Okay, now when I say hierarchical indexing, what does hierarchical word mean? It is level of indexing. So we will have levels in this particular indexing concept. So we generally have a single index, but in hierarchical index we will have multiple levels of indexing. So here we use two functions for doing that, that is stack and unstack. So what stack does is it rotates or it converts the columns into rows. Okay, so if you have in a data frame, you have columns that will be converted into rows of a series. Okay, based on, and that series will be termed as a hierarchical indexed series. Okay, so if next one is unstack, stack will, whatever stack does, unstack does opposite of that. So stack, what it does is it converts the columns to row. Unstack will convert back the rows into columns. So we'll just see how this happens with the example of a code. Okay, now coming to the code part, just see here. Okay, so now I'll just explain this code and you'll understand the concept of whatever we have discussed so far. That is nothing but stacking and unstacking. So first in this code, what we are doing, basically this everyone will be knowing, but yet again I'll just repeat it. So first one, you are using pandas and numpy in this particular program. So you are importing that into your program, and instead of using pandas and numpy everywhere, what you will do, you will just use an alias. So you have import pandas as pd and import numpy as np. That is pandas, you can, wherever instead of using pandas you can use pd, and instead of using numpy you can use np. This is quite simple, but again I am repeating it. Okay, so what we are doing here is, for understanding the concept of stacking and unstacking, we need a data frame. So what we are doing here is we are creating the data frame. Okay, so how will you create a data frame? pd, that is you are using pandas library and you are just using the function data frame and you for creating data frame. Okay, so now in the first thing here, what you're supplying is np.arange 6. That means it will create 0 to 5 values, because it always takes one value less than the specified argument. So you have 6, so it will create the values from 0 to 5. Then it is a to reshape, it will create as a series. To reshape it into 2 rows and 3 columns, what we'll use, we will make use of the function reshape. So this data, that is 0 to 5, whatever it has been created as 0 1 2 3 4 5, that will be reshaped into or rearranged into 2 rows and 3 columns. Okay, now we have to we are specifying here index. Okay, now index here, for the first thing what we are doing is pd.index, and we are giving the name of the index as Ohio and Coladro. Okay, so what no, this is basically the index what we have to specify, that is Ohio and Coladro. And what we are doing here is we are just specifying the name. Okay, you can see here for this particular index, that is Ohio and Coladro, the name given is state, and for the column index, this is the row index. Okay, so we have rows as Ohio and Coladro, and for this particular set of indexes, the name given is state. Okay, next one we have the column index. Okay, and column index will be 1 2 3. Okay, these will be the column index. So you remember that we have reshaped into 2 rows and 3 columns, so that's why here we have 2 indexes for rows and 3 indexes for column. So we have 1 2 3, and the name given to this index is nothing but number. So name can be used to refer to that particular index. Okay, now what we are doing, we are just displaying, or we have created the data frame, we are displaying the data frame. So now you can see here we have what, we will have number and we have state. So number is the column index and state is nothing but the state is row indexes. Okay, so you have Ohio and Coladro, and you have number, that is 1 2 3 4. Now this is our data frame. Now what we are doing, the the main agenda here is to understand stack and unstack method. So now what we are doing, we are taking result is equal to data, that is nothing but the data frame we have created, and we are combining it with, for this data frame we are using the method stack. So what I told you, stack is going to convert the columns into rows. Now when you use the method, you can see the result contains the result of data dot stack. So what happens here, we had 3 columns, 1 2 3. These 3 columns will be converted into 3 rows. Okay, now Ohio and Colorado will be the main rows, and the 3 columns we had here is 1 2 3, that will be converted into 3 and other as a 3 rows. So again, under Ohio we will have 1 2 3, under Colorado also we will have 1 2 3. So this is nothing but a hierarchical indexed series. Okay, we have, see, this is the first level of indexing, this is the second, this is the innermost indexing. Okay, this is the, okay, so this is the outer index, this is the inner index, and this is the value. So this is an hierarchical indexed series. Okay, now this is what happens when we perform stack. Understood? So the columns will be converted into rows, and when we are doing this sort of conversion, we are not going to get a single index, we are going to get hierarchical index. So we are going to get, from a data frame we are going to get a hierarchical indexed series. Okay, now coming to the next part, what we are doing is we want back from the series, from the hierarchical indexed series, we want the data frame back. So what we'll do the reverse operation. What is the reverse operation? We are going to do unstack. Okay, now when we are, so result, now it consists of the stacked operation, stack operation result. Now what we are doing, result dot unstack, means we are converting back. What unstack does is, it will convert back the rows into columns. Okay, and whenever, you have to remember one thing, whenever we are doing this sort of operation, that is stack or unstack, we will always perform the operation on the innermost level. Now if I say innermost level, here what we have done, this is the innermost level. Okay, so when you are unstacking, the innermost level will become the columns. Okay, so what happens here, 1 2 3 is there, this is the innermost level, we are making it as 1 2 3. So this is how by default unstacking happens, taking into consideration the innermost level. Now if you explicitly specify, okay, if you explicitly specify, see here, if I have innermost stacking, okay, I told you the innermost level will be taken for unstacking. Now if you exclusively specify level, what is going, I have just specified 1, so what is going to happen, again you will get the same thing. So this is level 0, this is level 1, that is nothing but innermost level. Now if you specify 0 here, what is going to happen, so this is your 0 index. Now you can just see here how the result changes. Now we had this, okay, before, if I simply just consider here, just see, if I just, one second, okay, now this is what, generally I have unstacked, and it is taking the innermost level and unstacking it. Now if I just deliberately, I change the unstacking and I just give it as, if it is 1, it is same, because this is this index level is 0, this index level is 1. So if I change the index level as 1, it will remain the same. If I change the index level as 0, what is going to happen, you just see. Now before that, you have to just remember the number was 1 2 3, and now I have the columns were 1 2 3, and I've now, after changing the index, what is going to happen, you just see. What happens here is, you have changed the, now Ohio and Colorado becomes the columns instead of 1 2 3, because we have changed the usual unstacking procedure. If you give here 1, again you are going to get the same thing what we saw before, and without giving any any index value, it is going to directly unstack for using innermost level. That's all for this topic. Thank you.